It is SummerSlam 2024 week, and we're going to give you all of our predictions of matches and everything else that's going to happen.
Let's do this.
Welcome to the Wrestling Council. Welcome to the Wrestling Council. I'm your host, Comic Book Bob. Joined as always by my good friend, Hollywood Frank.
Hello, hello.
You can catch us here. Well, usually it's every Tuesday. Today it's Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about all the news wrestling. Today it's Wednesday at 5 o'clock because, scheduling in real life happens. You can also follow us on social media. Crawl below. It's in the description as well. And, it is time for our predictions for SummerSlam 2024. Did you watch Raw this week?
Bits and pieces.
Yeah. It was not the best Raw.
No, started off. I wasn't happy with the way it started off. But we'll get into that.
Yep, we'll get into it. Real quick here, just wait until everybody starts filtering in here. Obviously, because we're on a different day, different time. It's going to be a little weird. But you can catch it. Obviously, you can watch us on YouTube. You can also catch us on X, a.k.a. Twitter, over at the Wrestling Council. Link is in the description as well. And interesting news week this week, man. A lot of stuff going on. I'm going to tell you what, man. Every year, every freaking year, man, something crazy happens. And I'm like, this is the absolute craziest stuff that could ever possibly happen in professional wrestling. And then the next year, it gets topped.
Yep.
Like I said, we'll get into it when we start talking about everything. But, a lot of craziness going on right now.
Heard that.
With all the streaming deals that are being worked on and all the contracts that are up this year. Dude, man, it's everybody. Everywhere. Contracts are up all over this year. So the landscape for professional wrestling is going to change a lot. But real quick, let's check in with the chat. Big Daddy was first. He says, hey, yo, Big Daddy. Appreciate you being here, man.
Hey, yo.
Big Daddy. As always, everybody that watches this stream later or anybody that catches us this Saturday, because we will be doing live reactions to SummerSlam.
Yeah, baby.
Yep. I'm going to see because Chris and Nicole have tickets to SummerSlam. And they're like, see if you can find us in the crowd. I'm like, there's going to be like 40,000 of you.
Oh,
that ain't going to happen.
First Energy's a big-ass stadium.
It's a big stadium, man. Leg Kick says, hail the Wrestling Council. Hail, Leg Kick. What's up, brother? Appreciate you being here, man.
It's not an arena. It's a football stadium. So open-air football stadium. So it is big.
Yep. Now, I can't remember because it's been so long since I've been there. They do have the ability to pull the awning thing over it in case it rains, right?
No, there's no covering for.
They're okay. So they're like, oh shit, weather's been kind of crap lately. Hopefully that's not gonna. Yeah, if it rains, it rains, man.
If he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies.
It rains. Well, where I live at, there's a 70% chance of rain on Saturday.
Yeah,
for the first half of the day.
Yeah, and considering that this freaking thing's got. Hey, Courtney, what's up? Hey guys, missed you guys yesterday. Yeah, it was just how it is, man. Things happen, schedules get changed, and you gotta roll the punches.
Yeah, chance of rain 60%. Sorry, for Saturday during the day.
Jeez,
and nothing for night. So
yeah, well they got a 3-hour.
It's gone. The storms passed before they start, but.
What was it? Was it was it 2 years ago? Yeah, it was 2 years ago, right before Joe showed up in AEW. That WWE had a show where it like poured all day long, and like for the first like 30 or 40 minutes, like it was still pouring, so they kind of like postponed everything. But hopefully that doesn't happen. There are some interesting matches this week, but we'll talk about it. But all right, we'll go ahead and get into it. But before we get into that, we're gonna talk about our favorite segment, a little something we call the good, the bad, and the ugly. Wasn't that at Mania? Yeah, it was Mania 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
That the pre-show got rained out. Yep.
And Cleveland, Jimmy Haslam, who owns the Browns, wants a new stadium. Build a dome, but also get WrestleMania here. Get confirmation for two things: a WrestleMania in Cleveland if you build a dome stadium, and Super Bowl in Cleveland for building a dome stadium.
Yeah.
If you can get those locked in, I would build it.
Well, with the competition between WWE and AEW heating up, and they are WWE is treating AEW like competition now. All these people are upset because AEW's counter programming to, WWE's counter programming to AEW. I'm like, hey, you guys are the ones that wanted this. Competition's fair play, baby.
And speaking of Cleveland, I don't know if you saw the news that there's some kind of tax credit or something that's
they gave AEW
the AEW for Cleveland.
Yeah, like
Ohio, but more specifically for Cleveland. So who knows what that's going to be?
I think it was like $1.2 million or something, which is a big deal. Like that'll pay for a big chunk of a show.
Bring Forbidden Door to Cleveland.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'll bet you $10 that there's a possibility that there will be a pay-per-view here next week. Depends. It all depends on what happens with Warner Discovery. But let's go ahead and get into our GBU. Corny, see I come in handy. Yep, appreciate you, girl. So my good competition in wrestling. I just talked about it. WWE doing counter programming to AEW, treating AEW like a lot of people have been talking about. AEW, when AEW first came out, everyone's like, oh, they're competition. Yes, they are competition. And now that they're being treated like competition, they're like, this is wrong. And I'm like, y'all need to shut up. Competition is good. Competition forces companies to evolve. And right now, AEW is in a situation where they need to evolve.
Yeah,
they really, really need to evolve. If they want to get, they're slowly getting back to where they were. But where they were is not where they want to be. They want to be a lot higher than they are right now. Now, obviously, this deal with Warner Discovery is going to have a lot to say about that. Yep, the fickle fan base, exactly. But competition is always good because competition forces creativity and it forces you to evolve. That's what happened. That's what happened in AEW showed up. WWE had to evolve, and they did. And we're seeing the results of that right now. So I'm all for it, man. Like, competition will always breed excellence. So that's what you want. So that's something like a lot of the news coming out. And we're seeing we're going to talk about this a little bit before we get into our predictions and everything. We're seeing AEW making some moves that if you told me 4 years ago they were going to do this stuff that they're doing, I'd tell you you're out of your mind. There's no way in hell it happens. But I'm all for it. I love competition, and we're gonna be the ones that benefit from it. The second part of my good is the Von Erichs in AEW. Finally, it looks like nothing's been announced officially yet, but the Von Erichs and Dustin Rhodes are now the Ring of Honor Trios champions. It was cool. It was just cool watching them. I've been wanting the Von Erichs in AEW for a long time. Whether you love AEW or don't love AEW, tag team wrestling lives in AEW, man. Yeah, tag team wrestling is a much bigger deal in AEW than it is in WWE. And I've wanted the Von Erichs there for a long time. I'd love to get the Motor City Machine Guns, but it looks like they're going to be heading to WWE. All the love in the world to those guys. I really want to see the Von Erichs really shine in a revitalized tag team division in AEW. And this match was awesome. I loved it. I loved seeing it. So that was my good.
Question about that.
Yep.
I thought they unified the AEW and Ring of Honor trio.
They stripped them. Remember?
They got stripped the right.
Right. So they were the unified champions, but apparently they did not unify the titles. And honestly, I'm okay with it as long as Ring of Honor becomes its own separate entity. And because it does sound like Tony Khan is trying to shop a new home for them. Ring of Honor should be treated like WWE treats NXT.
Yes.
And that's what they need to do. It's its own separate entity. Every once in a while, you see a little bit of crossover. You hear from one person or another come from there, what have you. That's what needs to happen in Ring of Honor. Because the way it's being treated right now, it's being treated like an afterthought, and that's not good.
No.
Courtney said, "I'm wondering if we will get Thunder Rosa versus DMD." Oh yeah, we will eventually. They're gonna have to run that back because that's the match that kind of made them. So, my bad, but that's my good. My bad. SummerSlam 3 hour, 3 freaking hour pre-show. Are you freaking kidding me? Look, I get why it's happening, okay? But 3 hours? I don't want to hear. That means the people that are going to be attending that show are going to be there. If they want to catch the entire show, they want to catch everything, 8 hours. 8 freaking hours. I don't want to hear anybody ever say anything about AEW having long shows ever again. Okay? Now, personally, I like smaller shows. I like shorter shows. 3 hours to me is perfect. 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours, you're starting to push it. I like a much more focused show, but 8 hours? And we were just talking shit about AEW running one for 6. This
8 hours.
So I'm I'm looking at the match card for SummerSlam. There's 7 matches right now. The pre-show is almost as long as the friggin' main show. So what the friggin' hell, dude? They're gonna have 10 more matches? Because no one's gonna sit there and listen to them talk for 3 hours. You're out of your mind. Yeah, that's it. After that, I work Saturdays. Chris, I want to see Ring of Honor peeps on AEW TV like Dynamite. I would rather Ring of Honor was its own entity, and then every once in a while they would show up or something like that. Like I don't have a problem with that. I just think that they're doing Ring of Honor business on AEW TV way too
much. And speaking of Ring of Honor, AEW, if you did something similar to Survivor Series, we had Ring of Honor versus AEW.
I'm all for that.
I'm okay with, but you got to keep them.
Yeah, they like I said, the NXT treatment I think is the best way to go. I think you have like your core veterans for Ring of Honor. You guys like Dalton Castle, Shane Taylor, those guys. You put a bunch of this young talent that's basically sitting over in AEW not doing anything. You use it to develop people, I mean, dude, when AEW first debuted and it was NXT versus AEW, we often say, how many times did we say the best product that WWE is putting on TV right now is NXT? When you had the Undisputed Era over there and you had, all those guys, NXT was the shit, man.
Yep.
Like it may have been their developmental program, but it was better than everything else that was going on. And oftentimes we said that even though Dynamite was the better show, the better wrestling was happening on NXT. That's what needs to happen to Ring of Honor, in my personal opinion. Courtney said 3 hours for pre-show, main show is 3 hours, and press conferences 2. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like 8 hours. Like screw that. You know, it's ridiculous. Get the learning tree off my TV. Dude, it's the weird thing is though that's like one of their top segments. Every week that's how Jericho's popular dude, man. Whether you like what he's doing or you don't like it, and I don't particularly care for it. You can't deny the man's reach, but yeah, 3 hours for a pre-show is just ridiculous. And my ugly, the Blood and Guts chair shot fallout. For those of you who did not watch Blood and Guts, which I'm pretty sure almost everybody did, or at least knows about what I'm talking about, Mark Briscoe hit Jack Perry with a steel chair. Now, people have been hit with steel chairs forever and a day. The way he hit him was pretty graphic. It was pretty graphic. Like he just flat out, like dude, this was The Rock hitting Mankind level of graphic. Okay, he took that friggin' chair and he just smashed him in the face with it. Just whack. And I get it. I don't like when people take unprotected chair shots. I think you need to at least be able to defend yourself in some way, shape, or form. Get a hand up, do the chair shot across the back, do something like that. Chair shot. I mean, CTE is not something to screw with.
Nope.
What I have a problem with though is the hypocrisy, because a couple of months ago, a certain fellow by the name of Cody Rhodes, I can't remember who he was in the match with. He hit the dude with a pretty nasty chair shot too, and nobody said shit. So, if I have an issue, like the issue I have with the situation is the hypocrisy of it. I don't think you should take an unprotected chair shot ever. I know that back in the day, that used to be like a badge of honor. We all know the result of CTE, so it's not good. But let's keep the hypocrisy to a minimum. And that's my GBU. Frank, what do you got?
Oh my good. There's not a lot of great, I don't think, this week. I mean, there was
little
good,
things.
Little things. I really enjoyed the FTR versus Eminem. I think I think they'll get over a lot better here in AEW than they ever did in WWE, and hopefully they get the push
I'm all
they
for people
deserve.
getting a look.
And going up against FTR, that's I mean you're the best tag team in the world right now, and you're in the ring with these guys. So
if you want to get a rub from someone, that's what you want to get from. But the only thing I have, like, I'm not the biggest fan of these like jokey gimmicks and stuff like that, just like the supernatural stuff. I'm not the biggest fan of those things, but you're never going to see me giving people shit for getting work. Okay. And if the gimmick gets, it's just like the Acclaimed. I'm not the biggest fan of the Acclaimed, but they were over. They got over, and they got over big in the Blood and Guts match too. So I get it. It's just not it's just not my cup of tea. So I'm glad they're getting work, and hopefully something good comes out of it. Like I said, I'm looking for the tag team division in AEW to be revitalized.
Hopefully,
yeah,
we'll see. But tag teams are better in like you said in AEW than they are in WWE. Hopefully, with the fact that the Bloodline won the tag team gauntlet in SmackDown, they'll make nothing against DIY, but hopefully they'll do something with the titles with those guys.
Yeah, it's just tag team wrestling. It's not that WWE doesn't have good tag teams. They just don't have any kind of priority on them,
right?
The way that AEW does, and they really should, because tag team wrestling is awesome.
It is. I mean, now women's tag team wrestling, nothing against it, but
It's not established.
There's nothing in AEW, and the women in WWE get treated like an afterthought with the tag belts over there.
Yeah. Well, right now the majority of the women's division period is being treated like an afterthought. If your name's not Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan.
Oh, now you got Damage Control back, and now I guess they're faces because they were beating down Shayna Baszler and her team. So
I give it a month.
But my bad. I did not like the opening segment from Raw yesterday with Punk, McIntyre, and Seth Rollins, special referee. Like, he really didn't say anything about stipulations for the match, which is what he was supposed to be there as referee instructions. It just
looked like a freaking idiot.
To me, it was a waste again of these three guys that was good. What was that, 2 weeks ago with Seth in the ring?
Oh yeah, when he got screwed over, they had the chance. It's such an awesome storyline, and they just took a crap on it.
Yeah, and I think they're taking a crap on this. I'd rather see Seth in a match. You know, there's possibility they can add other matches to the card for Saturday, but Seth's not going to be in one.
No.
Jey Uso's not in a match.
I don't understand that, especially as hot as he is right now.
But I did not like this opening segment on Raw. It just seemed
it's just so counterproductive.
Not the way to start it off, mate.
And the thing is, right now, Drew is doing some of the best character work he's ever done. Dude, he's more over right now than Punk is. And that's saying a lot. Dude, when he walked when Punk was like, honestly, I think people are starting to cool off on Punk. I still like Punk. I still think he's one of the best talkers in the business. He's one of the best storytellers. But when you've got to like prod the crowd to chant your name, something's going on. And then when he was like, dude, what do you got? And then Drew just holds up his hand and he's got that bracelet. Dude, the character work that Drew's doing right now is friggin' next level. It's awesome. And it's the best storyline going right now, but it could have been so much freaking better because the next chapter that they could have done with Seth, because like the whole idea, like the whole thing is like Punk is living in Punk's like, I'm living in Drew's head rent free, but the way that situation went down at the pay-per-view, Drew was living in Punk's head rent free because he ended up costing Seth the match.
Yeah, and Courtney keeps screwing Drew. I see him leaving. Unfortunately, that ship's already sailed.
Yep.
Drew signed a new contract a month or two ago.
Yeah, he ain't
leaving anytime soon.
But it's just the idea that they had such an awesome second leg of this storyline with Seth, and the very next week on Raw, they completely took a crap on it. And I think the reason they did that is because, look, we're heading towards, I get the feeling we're heading towards a Punk heel turn.
We are.
I think we're 100. And let's be fair, he's better as a heel than he is as a face.
I agree with you, Maldacci, though. How is Jay not wearing some kind of gold? Like,
dude, it should be him in this friggin' match for the U.S. title instead of LA Knight. It should be him versus Logan Paul.
Or put Sammy and Jay together and put the tag titles on them. Because I feel that we'll get to predictions, but I feel Sammy won't be a Intercontinental title holder much longer.
No.
My ugly, oh my God. It just went on way too long. And I'm talking about the slap fest with Minoru Suzuki and Chris Jericho.
Wrong person won too.
Just constantly, just slap, go to picture in picture, more slapping, come back from picture in picture, more slapping. It's like, come on.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't have a problem with it because dude, Suzuki chopped him so bad he drew blood.
He did,
which is fine, which is great. And look, let's be honest. Both of these guys are getting old. They can't really go like they used to. If you got to do something to like, slow the match down with it, that's fine. Go to rest holds or something like that. Go to some classic wrestling techniques or something. This thing, dude, they chopped them. What was it, like 8 minutes straight?
Yeah, like I said, it went to picture in picture, and they were still slapping people when they came back.
Yeah, and I'm like, look, I love Murder Grandpa. I still like Chris Jericho, even though I'm not a big fan of the current gimmick. This match, and plus the chance to do something awesome with that friggin' title. Like I said, they need to take the FTW title, recognize it as basic, because it's basically a hardcore title. That's what it is. There's no rules. Right? So it's a hardcore title. Just recognize it as such and have it be an official title. And how badass would it be if we could put that freaking belt on Murder Grandpa, even if it's only for a couple of months? I mean, let's do a little bit of. New Japan's doing all this stuff for AEW. Let's see a little reciprocity.
Yeah, it's
because the belt being on Jericho is pointless.
It is. I mean, to me, it was just unnecessary.
Yeah. It was like, I love Murder Grandpa. I love seeing him around. I know he's not going to be in the ring for much longer, maybe a couple more years, and that'll be it. Guys like him and Yuji Nagata, they've been around forever. But you had a chance to do something cool and actually make that belt matter.
Yeah.
And you didn't do it. So
I was shocked that on a different note, that Bronson Reed finally won a match.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
Oh my God.
They have something really special in that guy. Really, they really do. Like I said, I compared him to Bam Bam Bigelow. And he's young too. So why? Because he's not chiseled out of granite and has a six pack.
Yeah. But that's RGBU, so
you know how long it took me to learn reciprocity. I'm expected to learn like friggin' names that are spelled in languages that like confuse my brain. I'm expected to learn that in 10 seconds. It took years for me to learn reciprocity. I'm still not 100% certain what it means. But
he doesn't know what it means, but he likes it.
Yep. I like using big words. It makes me sound smart. Anyway, that's our GBU, guys. What's your GBU? Tell us what you guys thought you liked, you didn't like about the wrestling this week. Anything else in the news? What have you? So one story before we get into our predictions and everything, I do want to touch on one story, and that goes back to the first part of my my good, which was competition. So everybody's talking right now, probably pretty much the biggest story in professional wrestling today after the news hit is the meeting between Tony Khan and Shane McMahon. And this was, a lot of people said that this was BS, that it was never going to happen and whatnot. And then we got a friggin' picture and literally it happened. And they're in a boardroom and they're talking to each other. And I think it was Wrestle Talk are the ones that broke the story. It was Wrestle Talk and Sean Ross Sapp, I think. But this is a big deal, and it's a big deal for a couple of different reasons. One of it is one of the biggest reasons, though, like I said, is competition. Competition forces you out of your comfort zone. It forces you to evolve. It forces you to change. It forces you to be creative. It forces you to grow. We've seen this time and time and time again. It happened during the Monday Night Wars. Vince was forced to change and grow. And that's what happened. He stepped out of his comfort zone. He pushed certain wrestlers that he normally wasn't interested in, and he ended up with Austin 316.
Yep.
Okay. That's what happens when you have competition. That's what happens when you're forced to be creative. Tony Khan meeting with Shane McMahon right now is not a coincidence, guys. And them showing them meeting is not a coincidence. Right now, AEW are in their biggest negotiation of their life with Warner Discovery. The deal has been agreed in principle, but it has not been signed. A big part of the reason why it was not signed was because of what's going on with the NBA. And Warner Discovery, like, literally trying to pull out all the stops to make sure that they secure the NBA.
Yep.
And it's looking like they're not going to. They are talking that they're talking about going the legal route, because I guess there are some legal ramifications that are not being addressed between them and the NBA. So it's a possibility that maybe, so I think it's something along the lines of, as long as they match whatever deal is as long as they at least match whatever deal is put out by somebody else, then they get first crack at the NBA or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure the whole league.
I'm not sure the whole legal loopholes or anything like that. But we do know that this right now, AEW is this next stage is the fight of their life. If they don't secure the right deal with the Warner Discovery, this is going to seriously hamstring AEW going forward. Shane McMahon showing up, whether you like Shane McMahon or not, and Tony Khan potentially teasing the fact that Shane McMahon may be coming on and in some kind of a board capacity or creative capacity or something like that. That's going to be a lot of currency in their pocket going forward with this deal with Warner Discovery.
I like Kick's comment here.
Do you think Shane McMahon will be in charge of Ring of Honor? I would not be surprised if it was something like that. I think Tony Khan is looking at Shane as giving him some kind of an insider track as to how to deal with WWE going forward. You talk about a guy that's been entrenched in WWE forever. He knows everybody over there. He knows how they do things. He knows how they work. He knows all the right people to talk to. Shane was whether you liked him or you didn't like him, Shane was a big part of WWE, especially when his dad was there.
And whether you like him or not, Shane was working with some different companies overseas in the media. So
yep,
I'm sure he's still got friends over there. He can get something set up with Tony.
Yeah,
and AEW in Japan, even more lucrative than what they're trying to do with New Japan
or other
right
countries
now.
like India.
Yeah,
whatever, what have you, other venues that they could really they could use. But the thing is this,
and there's other executives that were let go by WWE that are in AEW.
Yeah, well, and what's that lady that was a big part of the women's division.
Yeah,
I can't remember her name now, but she signed with AEW, and it's no surprise that AEW's women's division got better when she showed up. AEW's women's division is a lot better now than it was a year ago. Okay, so that being said, I don't know what kind of deal Tony would have. I mean, I don't know what kind of deal Shane would want, but having somebody on your board who has the knowledge that Shane has is a big deal. And we also know that Shane is very estranged from his dad. And one of the reports coming out, there are multiple reports. Some people are saying that a big part of the reason why Shane had such a falling out with his dad was because of his dad's picadillo, his dad's predilections. Shane wasn't a fan of it. He didn't like Vince being a womanizer. He didn't like all this, secret boardroom sexcapades and all that stuff like that. Shane wasn't a fan of it. And that caused a rift between him and Vince. That's one of the reports coming out. And that's why things fell apart between them. Now, how true that is, and the fact that, it took that long for things to really fall apart between him and Vince, because was it 2 years ago?
What?
I think it was about? Like when he left. Yeah, it was right after the
Royal Rumble, because Shane wanted to be in the Rumble.
Yeah. Actually, I think he lobbied for himself to win it.
Yeah, I'm not sure
something.
about that, but I know he
But
wanted to be in there and had,
or he wanted to be one of the four last people.
a big push in the Royal Rumble, and
Vince was like, and he actually put him in charge of it, and that was the one thing that they nicked, and then he was gone right after that. So I think it was about a year and a half ago. But the fact that it took that long for him to have this falling out with his dad, I don't know. So who knows how true those stories are. But I think at the very least, bringing him on in an advisory role of some kind would be a good idea, because it gives you a good look into the way, like I said, the way WWE operates, and he has a lot of names on his docket. So, whether or not you put him in charge of something like you put him in charge of Ring of Honor, I don't know about that. I could see him becoming the general manager of Collision, kind of the way that Punk was. And then you go to kind of like go back to like a soft brand split or something like that. You know, what have you. All I can say is that, to me, this is the kind of evolution that AEW needs to do. And if he brings him in, great. If he doesn't, and he just becomes a friend and he gives him a little bit of advice every now and then, that's fine too. But if they were to announce tomorrow that he joined in some kind of an advisory capacity or something like that, I think it's a good idea. What do you think?
Yeah, well, you got. I know he's almost done wrestling, but you guys got guys like Bryan Danielson,
Yep,
Edge, Mercedes, FTR,
Moxley
that came from WWE.
Jericho.
That you could put Claudio. They could put these guys together in a faction with Shane.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like you said, if he does take over Ring of Honor, you could do like a Survivor Series kind of pay-per-view where it's Ring of Honor versus AEW.
I would love to see McMahon take over Ring of Honor, get a new TV deal.
Yep.
With Tubi or something with Ring of Honor.
Dude, the fact that Tubi is looking, that was the other big news story that came out of the last week, is that they were looking for original wrestling content. I'm like, dude, Tony Khan, there you go. You know?
I mean, the possibilities are endless with Shane McMahon if he comes in. I mean, it's a long shot.
Yeah.
But the fact that they were together in a conference room talking,
yeah,
you would have never expected that. But
not in a million years.
No.
If you'd have told me that 2 years ago, I'd have said you're out of your mind. As the Elite's financier. Dude, I could see him coming in and doing like an invasion kind of thing or something like that. You know, like I said, it's the best thing for him would be to come on in some kind of an advisory role, but we know that he likes to be out there in front of the camera and stuff like that. And when Shane is doing good work, he does good work. The problem is that the situation that he was doing over at during the Royal Rumble, just that wasn't his best work.
No.
So it'll be interesting to see, but I just think somebody with that level, that intimate level of knowledge with how WWE operates and you know how to evolve AEW as a business, I think that's a good move. So
yeah, and I'm sure he'd rather go out on a better note than his last match being where he tears his quad and in a impromptu match with Snoop Dogg and The Miz.
Yeah, gets rock bottom. Was it the people's elbow by Snoop Dogg? That's the way you go out. That's kind of bullshit. But what remains to be seen. It's an interesting story, and we'll see where it goes. Okay. SummerSlam predictions. All right, let's go. I got the match card, the official match card. There are 7 matches.
Which I don't think is enough, but
Which, well, they like I said, they're talking that was it Friday we could get another 1 or 2 matches added to it. You never know, but I mean, 7 matches, that's a good 3-hour show if you give each of them enough time to cook.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the one match that is not a title match. Even though I get the feeling this is going to be the co-main event. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with special guest referee Seth Rollins. Seth looked like a freaking idiot on Monday. He looked stupid. And as good as Drew versus Punk has been as from a character standpoint, without the drama of Punk costing Seth his title match, without that drama hanging over their heads, Seth's involvement in this is pointless, in my personal opinion. If you want to do a stipulation thing, you could have done like anything, like no DQ, false count anywhere, what have you, whatever. I don't know. But Punk's winning this match unless Punk gets hurt.
Fragile Phil.
Unless Punk gets hurt in the middle of this match, I gotta believe that he's winning this. He's winning this. But with the way that with Seth Rollins being injected into this thing, and as badly as they have handled. By the way, I'm sorry, my voice is a little messed up. My throat's a little sore from being sick. The way that they've handled Seth in this has been bad. The way they've handled Seth in this whole thing is just it undermines the whole thing. I get the nasty feeling that Seth is going to cost Punk this match, and then it's going to be Punk versus Seth, or it's going to be Drew and Seth versus Punk and somebody else. Who that somebody else is, I don't know, but the way that they've handled this, I get the feeling that's what's going to happen. I don't want that to be what happens, but I get the feeling that that's what's going to happen. And if that's what happens, this is going to be a terrible ending to this thing. It'll be a terrible ending to this thing. But I'm picking Punk. I'm picking Punk to win this match. What about you?
So many different ways this can go.
Yeah. And like I said, the way that they've handled Seth in this, it throws a monkey wrench in it because I'm not sure. Hydrate, children.
Yeah, but I think wow. I think Drew wins this. I think
you think Seth's going to
I think Seth inadvertently takes out Punk and costs him the match. And 1, 2, 3, Shane, or not Shane, Seth counts out CM Punk.
See, if that's the way it goes down, that's going to be real unsatisfying. Because with the build up to this and everything, the match like this shouldn't end in a schmoz.
It shouldn't, but I think it will.
It will. I think you're right, and I think it's going to be either it's going to be what you said or it's going to be what I said, where it's either he's going to deliberately screw him or he's going to accidentally screw him. But the problem is that there's no drama to it either way because they took it away. They took away the story, so it's going to be like the last Punk feud, not no DQ, just no conclusion. Yeah, that's the thing that I'm worried about. That's the thing I'm really worried about is it's going to be a nothing burger. But
it also is going to depend how long the match is how Fragile Phil is feeling.
Yeah.
We'll
see.
If it doesn't break down the middle of the ring during the match,
Someone also said that this is possibly where AJ Lee returns, because he's been pushing for AJ Lee to return to have a comeback. But yeah, I mean, I love the storyline between Punk and Drew McIntyre. I just don't. I the way that they've handled this, I got a really sinking feeling it's gonna be a shit show. But we shall see. I'm picking Punk. You're picking Drew.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Okay. The United States Championship, Logan Paul versus LA Knight. Dude, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't give a shit.
Neither do I.
I really don't care. Like this, nothing against LA Knight. They should have pulled the trigger on him when he was hot. This should be Jey Uso. This should be Logan Paul versus Jey Uso in this match. I think Jay is way, way more over right now than LA Knight is. I think if you're going to take that belt off of Logan Paul, put it on somebody that's hot. And especially considering that, dude, he's having a great singles run. He deserves some gold. He deserves some singles gold. And I don't know. Like I said, I get the feeling, since it's LA Knight, I get the feeling Logan Paul is going to hold on to this belt. I think he's going to win it, because right now I think Logan Paul is like one of their top heels. So, and the way that they've been using him, he'll come in here, he'll do a match, he'll disappear for a little bit, and then he'll come back, and that's the way they've been doing it. So I'm picking Logan Paul to win this.
Yeah. I really don't care who wins this match.
That's the thing that sucks. But that's why I'm picking Logan Paul, because I want to see if I want to see someone take that belt off of him, off his smug ass. Yeah, I do too. Unfortunately, I think the sun's set on LA Knight. I want to see somebody hot take the belt off of him, man. Somebody that could take it and run with it, and that's Jay. So,
to me, it doesn't matter either way. But man,
yeah,
I'll go with you. I think Logan Paul retains.
Yep, I think he retains, and hopefully it'll be Jace or somebody else. I don't know, man. Speaking of which, WWE Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. Breaker's winning this.
Now, is Ilya in that match too, or just the two of them?
It's just the two of them.
Okay.
As of right now. Now, one thing I have been hearing is that they are talking about adding stipulations to some of these matches. And depending on what the stipulation is, that could change everything. But right now, I think the way they're building up Sammy, the way they built up Braun Breaker, the way they've done this thing with Sammy, I think Sammy's dropping this belt to Braun Breaker.
Yeah, whether it's a one-on-one matchup or a three-way, and
yeah,
Braun Breaker's walking out as new Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, and I think that's a smart move too.
I didn't think he would win it the last pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, but I think they were saving it for the Big Four, which is what SummerSlam is, and now it's time for his coronation.
It's time for him to start the rise,
to be a title holder.
Yep. Because this dude, man, man, it's clear that Braun Breaker is a megastar in the making. I just wish they'd give him back his friggin' name. But yeah, I think he's taking that belt off Sammy. I think Braun Breaker is your new Intercontinental Champion. All right, WWE Women's Championship, Bayley versus Nia Jax. Oh my God, this has been an absolute shit show too.
Yeah.
I like Bayley. I really wish that they had given her more to do with this title run. I think Nia Jax is taking the belt off of her. I think the way that they've been pushing Nia Jax lately, the way that they've been, how Bayley is just kind of a distraction right now. I think they're putting that belt on Nia Jax. What do you think?
Hey, Adam, Cleveland Sports Cards.
What's up? Appreciate you, man.
I think for that match, your winner and new SmackDown Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany Stratton. Oh, you think she's going to cash in?
Yes, sir.
Now, okay. Now, hey, I didn't think about that. That is a definite possibility. I can see Nia winning the match, and then Tiffany Stratton comes out and cashes in on her. I can definitely see that happening. Now, actually, now I'm thinking about that. If they're going to have Tiffany Stratton cash in on her, then I would have Bayley win the match, because Tiffany Stratton beating Bayley is more realistic, because you know that Nia's going to beat the shit out of her.
Right.
Nia's going to maul the shit out of her. And I can see Tiffany Stratton pinning Bayley a lot more visually than I can see her pinning Nia.
I can see Bayley winning.
Yep.
And then Nia going just total ape shit on Bayley,
killing her.
And then all of a sudden, here comes Tiffany running down the ring, and it's Tiffy time.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
That's a definite possibility. That's a much better ending than the one I had in my mind. I would not actually, if that were to happen, I wouldn't be so upset with Bayley dropping the belt.
I think Tiffy is hot right now, and I think you capitalize on that.
Women's division needs a shot in the arm. They really do.
Not taking anything away from Bayley.
Yeah. Oh no.
But go with the hot hand right now, and Tiffany Stratton's a hot hand right now.
So yeah, I think. I'm still gonna go with Nia Jax as the winner. But if that's what we get, then yeah, I agree with you. The WWE Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Okay, look, everybody knows what's going to happen here. Okay, everybody knows. Yep, everybody knows what's going to happen here. I love Rhea Ripley. I kind of thought the story was goofy, but I get it. I get why people are into it. Liv Morgan's hot as hell. I get it. Like Triple H is pulling some of the Attitude Era out of his pocket. Sex sells, whether you like it or you don't like it. It's the truth. That moment when Liv, she cut that promo and she basically showed her butt off. That was the most downloaded moment on the internet. It was like literally the most downloaded clip next to the Trump assassination picture. So, and the way that it's been set up and everything, we all know exactly what's going to happen. Rhea's gonna have the match won. Dom's gonna screw her over. It's gonna be him and Liv Morgan. It's gonna be Judgment Day 2.0 with him, Liv Morgan, JD McDonough, and JD McChicken Nugget, and Finn Balor and Damian Priest and Rhea they're both gonna be out.
And this is the match where you could have Dirty Dom and Jey Uso involved in.
I don't like, dude. I'm with Rikishi, man. I think Jay being involved in this match is stupid. In this whole thing with them and Rhea, I think it's dumb.
I can't agree more with you, but it gets Jay on the card because he's not in a match unless they add him in a match somewhere. And they announce it on SmackDown this week.
Yeah.
It's going to be
I think he's going to
He's going to be in there somehow with.
Yeah, I get the feeling he's going to be the main event for the pre-show. But that doesn't mean he won't be involved in this too.
Right.
I think his involvement in the whole thing is dumb. I agree with this. I agree with Rikishi. But what are you going to do? So, yeah, I got Liv Morgan winning this.
The same.
Yeah. Now, this one, the writing was pretty much on the wall with this one. So,
beginning of the disintegration of Judgment Day as you know it.
Yep. All right. The two biggest matches in this whole thing: WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest versus Gunther. Damian Priest is going to get screwed over. He's 100% going to get screwed over. Gunther is going to be your new. Gunther is going to be your new World Heavyweight Champion.
Yep.
And about time too, man, because he needs to be in that. He needs to be in the world title scene. Gunther right now, I think, is the best. He might be the best talent that WWE has. He's a throwback in the best way possible. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Gunther's the shit. He's awesome. He's awesome. He's literally a living, breathing, walking, talking Marvel villain. And this has been a long time coming. Now, I like Damian Priest. I think Damian Priest's stock has gone way up. It's just including him in it just seems it was just so out of left field, and it was just so unnecessarily random. And it feels like they're trying to create, and like his dad was upset about it because he's like, "What are you trying to do? You trying to get him divorced or some crap?" Which I don't think that'll happen. I just I'm looking at it going like, why are you forcing him into this feud that doesn't mean anything? What should happen? He should be involved with what's going to happen with Bloodline 2.0. That's what he should be involved with, because we all know what's going to happen. It's going to be the OG Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0.
Yeah, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but the way it's set up is he's on one show, Bloodline's on the other.
Like that has ever mattered.
I'm just telling you.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
He has nothing to do with the Bloodline right now because he's on Raw and Bloodline's on SmackDown. I understand that.
We all know what's going to happen, though. We all know what's going to happen. It's going to be Roman and the Usos. And I think Sammy, and I think it's going to be they're going to reunite with Sammy, and it's going to be the original. It's going to be the original Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0. With Hikuleo showing up, and then The Rock filling it out.
Hey, Sammy's on Raw also.
I know.
So
I'm telling you, dude.
You can have a Raw Bloodline and a SmackDown Bloodline.
I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen.
And they go up against each other at Survivor Series.
Yep. It's going to be, and which brings me to the final match of the night. WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. Dude, they're not taking that belt off Cody.
No.
Now, here's a question. Here's a question I have for you. If Roman appears and saves Cody, does this hurt Cody as champion? I've talked to multiple people about this. I want to hear your answer before I give you my answer.
Does this hurt Cody if Roman comes down?
Does this undermine Cody as a champion?
Yes.
I agree. I think if Roman shows up, you can't have him actually interfere in the match. I would have, the way I would do it, I would have his music hit. Solo gets distracted by the music hitting, and Cody capitalizes.
I don't have a problem with Roman coming down and helping take out the Bloodline at ringside.
After the match is over.
But not interfering with the match in the ring.
Right. It can all turn into a schmoz afterwards. It can turn into a big brawl afterwards, but the match itself, Cody needs to overcome Sikoa himself.
Yeah, he comes down and like spears Jacob Fatu at ringside, and distracts Solo, and Cody hits Crossroads a couple times.
Yeah,
but interfering and doing something to Solo in the ring.
yeah.
No.
That can't be what happens. That will completely undermine Cody. Mountain says yes, but to be fair, Cody's championship has been pretty lackluster to begin with. That's what I'm saying. Like, they have not booked Cody very, very well as champion. I think he's done the best he can with what they've given him. I think a big part of it was the fact that there are that the baby faces outnumber the heels by such a large number. And most of the heels in WWE are not on the same level as guys like Roman. And I think that's a big problem. Like, you've got Roman, you've got Roman, you've got Gunther, you've got Drew, and that's pretty much it, man. As far as like their top heels are concerned. So when you got a face champion like Cody, what do you do? Like Jacob Fatu, he hasn't been there long enough, but like, as far as the talent in the ring, he's the most talented of the whole group. That's the dude that they should be cultivating going forward to be a foil for Cody. But they haven't really built anybody up. But yeah, I definitely think Cody's retaining. Hopefully they don't cut his knees out from underneath him. Now, we were just talking about Roman showing up. Do you think Roman shows up? I think he does.
Yes.
I think he shows up, and I think he factors into the win, but I'm hoping he doesn't actually get physically involved, because if he does, that's gonna undermine Cody. That's what I would move towards. 100%. That's what I would move towards. Montecito.
Two different shows.
Yep. I understand.
If you're going to continue with this brand split, you can't do Phil versus Cody.
I understand that. But we see them do trades and stuff all the time.
Right.
So I think we should get we need to get the Punk heel turn first. Get the Punk heel turn, come down to the Royal Rumble, and he wins the Rumble and he challenges Cody at WrestleMania. That's the way I would do it. Whether or not that's what they're going to do, who knows? So another question I have, do we see, we're talking about Roman showing up, do we see any more surprises?
You're talking about surprise appearances, like somebody from TNA showing up.
Yeah, it's like somebody from TNA showing up, somebody from NXT coming up. One of the big signings that they just had, Julia just announced that I think the show that she just did is her last show, or she's got one more show and that's it. So it's possible we could see Julia show up. I think she's going to show up in NXT first. I don't think she's going to show up on the main roster. But somebody that could show up on the main roster is Stephanie Vacour.
Possibly, but I thought they were putting her in NXT as well.
I think so too. But that doesn't mean that because her signing has been such a big deal and such a big story, that doesn't mean that we can't see her show up and do something. And I wouldn't put them past them to put her with Judgment Day or something like that. She comes out and she helps take out she helps Liv Morgan take out Rhea Ripley or something along that line. Because as far as her in-ring skills are concerned, she's ready to go. Like the only thing that she needs to work on is how to work the WWE style.
If she wasn't a couple months away still, I would bring Charlotte out, but
Charlotte just started working on the ring.
She's
again.
still got a couple months. Well,
Yeah.
No, but you can bring her out for.
Oh, that's true.
Should have had to get physical with anybody.
Yeah, they could Adam Cole her in this situation. What about somebody from NXT? Do we see anybody from NXT appear on the show?
I don't know. I really don't think so. If you wanted to get them over more, you could do something with the Wyatt Six coming out somewhere.
I think they're going to have a match. I think the Wyatt Six are going to actually have a match on the pre-show. Who's she going to join? LW or LDP? I hope not, dude. I hope they give her like a real friggin' shot. But like I'm just trying to think of like anything else, any other surprises that could happen. Like I'm trying to think of anybody from NXT that could show up that would be a big deal right now. I don't think there's anybody right now that would be like, holy shit, they just called that dude up or that person or that woman up, whatever, what have you. I can't think of anybody that's in that situation right now. And as far as like somebody from TNA, I think the TNA stuff's going to happen mostly in NXT. I don't think we're going to see a lot of it on the main roster.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So I think the big surprise is going to be the big, oh no, oh my God, it's going to be Roman showing back up. He'll probably show up with Paul Heyman.
Yep.
And then then the next phase of that's going to start happening. Outside of that, I don't think we're going to get any other surprise people. How much does Malasita look like Kevin Sullivan if he was a worker today and tall? Dude, I want to see if they changed his gimmick up at all. But he looks mean as shit. Dexter Lumis looks mean as hell. So I'll give him credit for that. But yeah, outside of that, I think we're gonna get you might get them on the pre-show. I don't see them showing up going after anybody right now, except unless Dakota Kai or something like does something to Bailey, and because they've indicated that they might be targeting her. So I don't know. But I think we've pretty much hit the nail on the head on what's to be expected. There's a couple of good matches on here, man. Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker is going to be a good match. Damian Priest and Gunther is going to be a good match. Punk and Drew should be a good match. Fingers crossed on Fragile Phil. And Cody versus Solo should be a good match. Depending on which version of Liv shows up, her match with Rhea could be okay, could be good. But yeah, I think all the surprises. I think we pretty much see the writing on the wall for everything here. But anyway, guys. But another thing, guys, just a reminder: we will, like I said, we are going to be doing live reactions to SummerSlam this Saturday. Yep. We're not going to do the pre-show, so screw that. Main show. I might be flying solo for a little bit.
This guy's got to work a little bit on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
hopefully, maybe we might be able to get a couple of visitors to show up and hang out with us for a while. And I'm as usual, I'm gonna throw the invite out in chat and let you guys come on if you want. So
yeah, please come on.
Yep, come on
down.
It's usually it's a lot of fun. Usually, it's a good time, and yeah, it should be a good show. So anyway, appreciate everybody who was here today. Everybody talking Maldacito, Cleveland Sports Cards. Appreciate you showing up. Courtney,
Leg Kick, Big
Leg
Daddy.
Kick, Big Daddy, everybody else that's gonna watch this show as they lurk and whatnot. Appreciate all you guys, and we will see you guys this Saturday. Bye.